starting a personal brand business on X or Twitter, and why this is a death sentence for beginners. Your competition looks like this: 16-year-old copycat GPT writers, business gurus who rode the wave of pre-Elon Twitter, and an algorithm of hype media like memes, politics, and posts about money. Seems to be an uphill battle for people who are building for a purpose, like myself and maybe you if you're watching this. So let me give you some context. 2 years ago, I started creating YouTube videos on my main channel. And this was a long time passion of mine because I watched YouTubers like Elliot Hulse and fitness YouTubers back in 2013. And I was inspired by them to create and share my ideas online. But then I found this guy. His name is Dan Coe. And he had this video about starting a one-person business. And long story short, he said all the right things. I was hooked on his content and I got into his ecosystem and his community. Flash forward almost 2 years later, and I drank the Kool-Aid, the creator economy Kool-Aid. And when I say Kool-Aid, this is like business advice or guru advice that works for some, but not everyone. And it's more like, feels kind of like a pyramid scheme, but I'll get into that in a minute. So he served me business advice and other creators, especially beginners. And he tells you to create a personal brand, post on Twitter, engage on it every day to grow, and then build an offer or product, something like that. There's a lot of nuance to it, but this is kind of the general gist of it. And you don't have to take my word for it. On the screen, I'll share some screenshots from other creators that I've kept in contact with throughout the entire journey. So Evan, a Christian YouTube marketer, shares his money Twitter experience. He says, I also drank the Dan Coe Kool-Aid too. He's such a genius, but he started on Twitter at the perfect time, but it makes newcomers hard to enter the market. Here's another one from Chris, a multidisciplinary creator. He describes the guru advice for beginners: Dan Kool-Aid and Justin Welch's grape juice. Great guys, great insights, not super useful or actionable for the average person starting from zero with no budget, no support, and a lot of pre-existing responsibilities. And I'll share one more. Here's from Matt, a father like myself who didn't achieve the Welch's promise, but instead co-money, co-problems. I also found my way into this group after drinking the Dan Coe Kool-Aid spiked with Justin Welch. I went deep into the creator economy rabbit hole for about 3 years and upended my career, running various experiments. But ultimately, it was exhausting, unfruitful, and unfulfilling. So I decided to change things up, do less, but dive deeper, and expand my time horizons for success. So this is not to shit on Dan Coe or Justin Welch. Their advice is golden, I think, in principle, but it's wrapped in excellent marketing, especially for beginners who are super excited to jump into content creation and make some money off of doing what they love, right? But if you're not careful, it's poison for parents like myself and people who are purpose driven that don't just care about money and fancy cars and all this flashy stuff. So what I experienced is that for a few people, it actually worked. Some people have gotten success from growing a personal brand on Twitter. For some, it took off, but they ended up regretting it because they felt like they sold their soul. And this is the big downside of getting involved in this creator economy Ponzi scheme, as some people will call it. And for most people, it failed because it didn't make sense for the true goals that are aligned at your core, right? And this begs the question. So do you really need an entire business to feel happy and fulfilled? Or is it something completely different? For example, for me, it was making connections with other friends that were interested in self-improvement. I also wanted to pursue my life's work or this creative expression and make some side income from it. And like I said, have a creative outlet to share my ideas with online. So my warning to you is just be careful about listening to big creators because they have these incentive structures that they teach around in order to get you to buy the products, which in some cases they are helpful, but in others, they might just get you procrastinating again by consuming a course, but never actually taking action on what you want. So the true purpose of this video is to help you get clear on your priorities. And clarity comes from three things: what you want concerning your ideal lifestyle, so a goal or a project. Why do you want it? A compelling reason that keeps you going when it's easier to quit. This is your core motivation. And does this align with how you operate? Does this align with your unique personality? So without these, you're going to end up climbing the wrong mountain, like myself and many others. If you don't understand your core operating system, you won't commit long enough for any strategy to work. It doesn't matter if you find the best strategy to make 10K per month in 30 days. If you're not aligned with it, you won't be able to sustain it for the rest of your lifestyle. Social media can help you go viral if you write the right post at the right time. But if you're overwhelmed with social media and the excess attention, if you're an introvert, then why chase that type of goal? You'll be left feeling empty and burnt out. So just to reiterate, don't copy others without being clear on your priorities first. But luckily, I've got your back. I created this workbook called the Focus Fix, and in the first step, we go over confidence and clarity. So we get clear on your priorities and we work backwards from it. So inside, we define what a successful day looks like to you, and we identify where you're at now and what you need to make that ideal day possible. Right now, it's free, so you can pick it up in the description. It's called the Focus Fix. As of this video, it has 20 downloads, so it's getting pretty popular. Check it out if you're interested. I just wanted to quickly talk about the three components of clarity and what you need to think about so that you don't burn out and build someone else's kingdom instead of your own. And if you're interested in these deep dives, join my newsletter called Focus Friday. Every Friday, I post a deep dive into how you can make the most out of your time by eliminating distractions and setting up burnout-free systems. I'll see you in the next one.